Okay. So yes, like I was saying, a function is a block of reusable code, right? So basically, functions are the bread and butter of JavaScript programming, right? The concept of wrapping a piece of programming in a value has many uses. It gives us a way to structure larger groups, to reduce repetition. So this is one key thing. To reduce repetition, to associate names with subprograms and to isolate these subprograms from each other. The most obvious application of functions is defining new vocabulary. Creating new words in prose is usually bad style, but in programming, it's indispensable. So, what about this one? Typical adult English speakers have 20,000 words in their vocabulary. Few programming language come with 2,000 commands built in, and the vocabulary that is available tends to be more precisely defined and thus less flexible than in human language. Therefore, we usually have to introduce new concepts to avoid repeating ourselves. Okay. To define a function definition is a regular binding where the value of the binding is a function. So what this means is okay. So if you guys have been attending this class, I want to know what is a binding in JavaScript. What is a binding? What does the binding mean in JavaScript? When you say something is a binding, what does it mean? Anybody? What's a binding? Yeah, exactly. So a binding is a variable. It's the same thing. A variable is a binding. A binding is a variable. So in this book, whenever you see the words like binding, right, just replace it to the variable. So it said a function definition is a regular binding or the regular variable where the value of the binding or the variable is a function. So the value of this variable comes square is a function. So you're assigning a variable, you're assigning a function to a variable. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Let me get some yeses or no's. Doesn't make sense. Let me come again. Doesn't make sense. Are you guys there? It doesn't make sense. Okay. So let me explain. Uh, Normally in JavaScript, you can declare a variable. Let's say let x is equals to 2. So what variable is this? Like, let me ask you, what does this mean? What does line 203 mean? Like, can someone just explain to me what does this line 203? Huh? This is basically simple though. I'm assigning what? What am I assigning? I didn't get you. What am I assigning? Yes, you can. Wait, let one person go first. Okay, so who's will go first then? Felix, go next. Um, yeah. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So thank you. Felix, you can go now. So I'm trying to tell JavaScript that whenever I see X, I should use the value is contain the value of two. So two is basically synonymous to X. So I can say let y is equal to X plus X. And when I do this, I am not going to get something magical, right? What am I going to get? Because it is holding the value of x is holding the value of 2, right? Exactly. So same thing where I can do, I can say y is equals to a square bracket and I can say 0, 1, 4. So what I'm saying here is let y hold the value of an array. So the array is whenever JavaScript wants to use anything, if I say y square bracket 0, it means go to the array, right, and do the square bracket 0. So I can also do this. I can also say instead of this, I can actually do this. I've done this before and it confused some people. I can do this 0. It's basically the same thing with doing let z is equals to x program is 0. Like, okay, so if I consider log y, what am I going to get? You can tell me. If I consider log y, what am I going to get? Oh, and this, I don't know what's wrong. This is crazy. I can't meet them. They are my office guys. They are working with me in the office. Don't to meet them. They own the office. I'm just renting the space. So you can't meet them, eh? Okay, continue. So what am I going to get when I consider log y? I'll get the array. Are you sure? I'll get 0, I'll get the array. Okay. Any other answer? Let's get multiple answers. So somebody said I'll get array. Somebody said I'll get 0. Any other person? What would I get? I'll get what? 0. Okay. I get 0. I get it. So let's confirm the answer. 0 or array. Let me play this. Oh, I got 0. Wow. Who can tell me? Who can tell me why I'm getting 0? Who can explain to me why I'm getting 0? You said? Okay. Exactly. So I think people have gotten so accustomed to cramming concepts in JavaScript. So when they see something like this now they get confused. They don't know that it's basically the same thing as in like let something like this. You can say let y or let z is equals to x and do x square bracket 0. So if I tell them if I ask this one, then this one, if I ask them this one, and they'll say okay, I'll get 0. But when I show them this one, they get confused. So people are used to just cramming concepts in JavaScript. Please don't cram. Don't be la cram lapo. This is not JavaScript is not a math class. You should understand what's going on. So like this, I'm going to get 0. And I'm just saying the array. I want to get the first element of the array, which is basically just this. So if I change this one to, if I change this one to 1, what am I going to get? Simple question, but let me just. How will I get 1? I want people that tell me I will get the array. Okay, so I'm getting 1. Okay. So I just did. Look at it. Can you see it now? I got 1. Okay. So basically, what I'm trying to explain is that a function declaration is basically saying let x is equals to a function. So the value of x is storing a function, and let's say the function is going to say you take the parameter of, let's say, number, and it's going to say, let's say, return number types number. So what these guys are trying to explain is that a function declaration, right, is basically storing a function in a variable. That's what this guy is saying here. He's saying a function definition is a regular binding, regular variable where the value of the binding is a function. Does it make sense now? Does it make sense? Let me get a yes. It's always painful. Are you sure you're using a good device? I don't even know. Please try and use your device well, eh? We are all tech bros here. Please, we are tech bros here. Let's act like tech bros and tech sissies. Okay, so um yes, a function definition basically is a regular function, regular variable where the value of the variable is a function. So that's what this is just saying. The value of this particular variable x is a function. So the same way you can put a value of, let's say, an array, right? Same way you can also put a function, store a function in a variable, and then this is called a function. What was it? Function definition. Yeah. So it's called define a function. So is this clear? Exactly. Thank you. So let's move on. So for example, the code below defines square to refer to a function where it produces the square of a given number. So this is x times x. So yeah. So basically now, when I call the value of x, right? Um, this x represents this function. So when I do, let's say I do console log x, it's if I console log x, um, I call x, I can pass it number, let's say 4, right? So now I'm calling this value of x, which is a function, and I'm passing something into it. So when I console log 4, I should get 16 because I'm saying, um, sorry, the function, store it in the value x, and when you call it the name of the variable that used to store it, so which is x. And then I'm saying x, passing something to x, which is a variable actually. What do you call it? Is it what do you call this again? Sef? Parameter. It's a parameter, right? So passing a parameter of, then do the magic. So does everybody understand what I just did here? Does this make sense? Please, if you don't understand, try and ask your question so that we can move forward. So, because if you don't ask questions, I won't know. Is there any part that's not clear about this? This is basically the first line of the book. The first line of the book. We don't even done anything. How do you enter closure? How will you guys now cope? Hey, you guys. Okay. A parameter is necessary when you want to reuse the function. When you want the function to be dynamic. A parameter is necessary when you can basically just remove the parameter here, right, and do something like this, and say 4 times 4, and then you don't need anything. You pass into this place. So whenever you call this function x, you're going to get 16, right? But the problem with this code is that it's not dynamic. So as many times as I call x, it will only return 16 for me. X cannot return anything less or more than 16. It must always return 16 every time it's called. Do you understand? So if I want the function to do more than just that, I want the function to take other numbers. Right? Let's say it can take 3, can take 4, can take 5. Passing a parameter called number. Like I said, the number is going to be any number. Sorry, I'm passing a number the wrong place. This is let's say I can pass in like 5, and then I can say number here. Or anything I want to call it, I can call it number. It's a variable name. Variable names that can be anything. I can say num sometimes no. Don't wait to do it. So now I can pass in 5, I can pass in 6, pass in 7, pass in 10, and I'll get the square of the number I passed in. So if I pass in 10, I should get 100. Okay. Num is not defined. So it's, I made a mistake. You mean num. So when I play this, I should get 100. Um, okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is a number. Okay. We're not dealing with strings here. This is numbers. Like you're multiplying numbers together. You're not concatenating. Do you understand the data types? I think the problem is one from one. When I discuss people, I see their. So do you understand data types? Do you understand the data types in JavaScript? Like numbers, arrays, booleans, objects. Do you understand data types in JavaScript? I think you need to go back to your JavaScript basics. Like, okay, we did a lot of stuff in chapter one. I recommend you go to the YouTube actually. I don't even know if the first video has a lot to offer you, but just go to the chapter one. This if that one is not even use it, work with with the book, so you can use the book and chapter one of this stuff. So I think that should help because I think you have a lot of basics to cover. So I don't think your basics are strong yet. I don't know if you can actually follow this class, but yeah, let's see how it goes. I'll try my best to be very, very explanatory. You can always ask questions too. Um, our network is quite slow today. Wow. Okay, let's just continue. I'll show you when it loads. Okay. Okay. So let's go on. A function is created with an expression that starts with keyword function, right? Functions have a set of parameters, in this case only x, and a body which contains the statements that are to be executed when the function is called. A function body, the function body of the function created that way must always be wrapped with braces, even when it consists only of single statements. Okay. So what this is saying is that if you create a function like this, there must always be a body. There must always be a curly braces, right? So because of the way it is created. So a function can have multiple parameters or no parameters at all. In the following example, make noise does not contain any parameter names, whereas power, this one, contains two. So we have two parameters here, and then we have zero parameters here. So just like I explained before, a function can have parameters, or a function might choose to not have parameters, depending on the use case of the function and what the function is doing. Exactly. Yeah. So so now we did the const power equals function based on exponent. So let result is equals to one. This is declaring a variable in the function, right? And then there's a for loop that says um okay, so I think the first time we did this, I had people to explain this function, and we spent like 20 minutes people trying to explain what is going on here. But let's try it again. Can anybody explain to me what is going on in this function power? Like what is going on? What do you think is going on? Like line by line. Yeah, you can. Power. Yeah. Parameters. Mm-hmm. 10. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so that's wonderful, right? So the magic, okay, the magic happens on this particular part. This is where the magic happens. This is where all the whole, let me not say all the whole because I'm an English student. This is where all the magic happens, right? So what this is doing is it's saying whenever whenever I calculate results, right? So what this is doing is, let me just copy this function. Trust me, this is not crazy. This is just basically JavaScript. This is not crazy. So what this is doing is that whenever I get result, right, I want result to be equal. So there's something in JavaScript we do. We override. Overriding is basically when I create a new value, right? So this result is one, and then now the first situation result is one. But I'm saying let result be equal to result times base. I think maybe this might actually help people understand what's going on here. Because when you see it like this, maybe if you're not good, like let's say you've not been in my classes before, so you might not really be able to figure out okay, maybe this is making. But when you see like this, you could see okay, so you understand that there was a class I taught about overriding variables. So I'm saying whatever was in this result before, which is one, I want you to throw it away and store a new value inside. So it's like I'm saying let x is equals to zero. I'm coming again. I'm saying after this particular one, x should be equals to one. If I consider log x, what am I going to get? One. Why am I going to get one? Explain to me why I'm getting one. Thank you. Exactly what is going on here. Results would erase the first memory, just like you said, and compute a new value and store it in results. Does that make sense now? Makes sense, right? I know that might actually be confusing. That's why I'm actually trying to explain it because personally, even me 17, when I started learning JavaScript, I was like, what's this? But when I look at it, I was like, okay, wait, let me. And I pause and I calm down, and I started looking at it. Okay, what's going on here? That's when I realized that okay, this is what actually happening. That's when I made me understand that okay, at every iteration, this result is changing value. So it was first one, but over time, this result is going to increase. It's going to change value, mm, keep changing value based on the previous value, right? So now when I consider log power, right? I put in let's say I put in 10. I put in and the base is 2. I should get 1024 like the gods. Exactly. So let me show you what I was talking about here. Let me consider log results here. So maybe you guys can see it. Okay, so can you see? Result is 1. This first iteration which is 1. Right? Second time is 2. Third time is 4. Fourth time is 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 5112, and 1024. Is this making sense to anybody? Am I preaching? And the congregation, can the congregation say amen? Amen. Okay. So yeah, that's basically what's going on. Yeah. So now let's look at what they explained here. So now they're talking about side effects now. So but let me just say this now. Console or log, right? This function is actually creating a side effect. Like it's actually doing a side effect. Does anybody believe like is so like I know we talked about side effects in our last class, right? Function, pure functions, side effects. Um, is this does it sound strange that this is because personally to me, when I first figured that out, it was looking strange. Like why is Kosovo law creating side effects in a function, right? So like this can say make some functions produce a value such as power and square, and some don't, such as make noise, whose only result is a side effect. A return statement determines the value of the function return. When control comes across such a statement, it immediately jumps out of the current function and gives the return value to the code that calls the function. Okay. A return keyword without an expression after it will cause the function to return undefined. So functions that don't have a return statement at all, such as making a similarly return undefined. Parameters for a function behave like regular bindings, but their initial values are given by the caller of the functions, not the code of the function itself. Okay. So what this is saying is okay, so this particular last line is something that actually took me a while to understand in JavaScript. Okay, now let's start from this from the very, very first. I say some functions produce a value such as power and square, and some don't, such as make noise. So some functions, this one is clear, some functions produce values, while some don't produce values. Right? It only create side effects, which is a like this one nice is considered logging playing, it's just a side effect, right? So that's clear. Or does anybody want to ask questions about that? You're not clear about what we just said. So function producing value and function not producing value. Makes sense. Okay, fine. Okay. A return state okay. Eh? No, 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 no. That's not true. It's called side effect because it's console.log. Console.log is calling a function. This is a function call. Console.log is a function call, right? So where is the function? Is it inside make noise or outside make noise? No, no, I mean the function, the console.log function. Where is it? The console.log function, like the function, like the object itself, the console object is outside, right? Perfect. That is the side effect. Okay, see now. Let me show you something. I have a function. Um, say function number, and I pass in the function to have like I don't even want to. I just want to return five. Right? I can say function square. So the crazy thing about this actually is that okay, no, let me replicate console log. So I'll say number num and I'll return num. Okay. So now I'm saying function sum is going to I don't want to pass any parameter. I want to return from this function. I want to return number, function number. I want to pass a parameter to it, which is let's say 10. Now do times 10 times number. Okay, let's do 10 times 11. So did you get what I did here? Does this what I did here? Does it make sense? It's clear. Before I continue, let me know if it just like to this point that am I being followed to this point, or did I lose anybody? Okay, okay. So now when I call sudo log sum, what am I going to get? Which is 110. Yeah, mathematics. All of us did mathematics in school, right? So it's 110. Yeah, are you saying anything? Okay. 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 Thank you. I know what I'm doing here. Everything is intentional. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I see. Thank you, sir. But yeah, I know what I'm doing. Um, so yeah, basically, what I'm trying to explain is this particular this particular function, right? It's is how I put it now. You're passing parameter from this function to this particular function. Exactly what console log is doing. Like, okay, see, console log is basically a function call, right? Of another function that is taking in a parameter of playing. So this is the side effect in JavaScript. That's because this function here is getting input from an external function outside there. Exactly. So the function log is basically God knows where it is, but this input it is getting this function playing has an input from an external source which you can't even see. You can see it maybe in the dreams, but you can't see it personally, physically. It's somewhere spiritual. So, but even if it's not spiritual and physical, you can't see it. But it's outside. Even if you can see it, it's outside. It's beyond the scope of this function. So this function cannot control this console.log. If this console.log tomorrow now wants to have issues or wants to have a bug, it's going to affect this function, make noise. Make noise will have a bug too because make noise is depending on console.log to do its function. Do you understand? So when a function is dependent on that function to um to work, this is also a side effect. That's also a side effect. It means that the or when the function here is affecting another function outside. A side effect. When a function is affecting something else, it can even be a variable, an array, a string, whatever is affecting outside, as beyond the scope is side effect. It's not a pure function. Is this clear? Exactly. Yeah, please. Okay, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I get you perfectly. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so now let's continue. So actually, I'm not going to lie. I don't understand what you're saying, but like maybe later we'll talk. Just move on. There's no time for back on. So a return statement determines the value of a function, what the function returns, right? So return statement is basically telling the function to return something. So this is saying, okay, I want to return whatever I tell you to return, just like we did before. That's why we showed you guys what a return statement can return or not. So when control comes across such a statement, it immediately jumps out of the current function and gives you the return value. So we're saying that when your code gets to the point where it sees a return, it immediately it immediately jumps out of the current function and gives you the return value to the code and call the function. A return keyword without an expression after it, right? We call the function to return undefined. So when you're returning what this guy is saying is that a return keyword without the expression after it. That means when I return it, I don't just leave it empty like this. You're going to return undefined. Able to do this one now. Um, yeah, functions that don't have return statement at all also return undefined. So even if he has a return without anything or no return at all, it's going to return undefined. Both cases. So parameters to such a function behave like regular bindings, but their initial values are given by the caller, the function, not the code of the function itself. So what this guy is saying is that parameters of this function, right, are given by the caller. So who is the caller of number? Sum. And it's in sum that I'm passing in parameters to number. So the parameters that number has, right, is given by the caller of the function, which is sum. Okay? Cool, clear. Is it clear? Makes sense. Am I getting you guys? Am I confusing anybody? Is this clear? Okay, clear, gone. Thank you, and the spirit. Okay, the person that says it's clear, they're trying to explain to us what you understand, what I just said. Yeah, parameter. Number function. Yeah, that's basically it. So this is the caller. We call it the caller because it's the one that is calling. So if somebody calls you on the phone, you call the person the caller, right? So when the function calls, or when something is calling the function, we call the whatever is calling the function the caller. So this function sum is the caller of the function here. So when you call the function, it passes the parameter to it, which is 10, and then the 10 is what is going to be passed into this. So this function number here, right? If I call this function without a caller or without anything passing to it, it's going to return undefined because there is no number attached to this function when I created it, right? So the number is just a placeholder for any number that is being passed in through the caller. So that's what this guy is saying. Um, functions don't okay, where is it? Where is it again? Parameters to a function behave like regular binding. Okay, no, this is not what I'm looking at. This particular one is quite, and that is a crazy thing entirely. I will explain it. Okay. Uh, where is it? Okay, yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah, yeah, that's it. Where is it that color again? Where do you call that color thing again? I missed it. Uh, is my opinion. Okay, let me start from here. A return statement determines the value. This one. Okay. So parameters the function behave like regular. So yeah, let me explain this particular statement. That I said that it took me a while to understand, right? Okay, let me highlight it. Hopefully, what I want to explain now, this thing will make sense, like perfect sense. Let me see. Hopefully, sha. What that means is to me, to personally to me, if I say have now, let me see how I can break this thing down to the. If I say let x is equal to an array, the array is let's say 1, 2, 3, right? I'm going to perform what's it called? I'm going to create a function that what is it again? That performs side effects function side spell the function manipulate, right? For this function, and then I'm passing in the parameter. This function is just function. Okay, so I'm going to pass in the parameter called arr, which is an array, right? I'm going to do something here. I'm going to console.log manipulate in x. So I'm passing in x, right? I'm coming here to do x dot pop. What is what pop does now, right? So x dot pop, array dot pop. So who can tell me? Okay, what am I doing here? Let me just think carefully. What am I trying to do here? Okay. So I want to ask you: do you think that this element is actually going to remove something from x, or is it going to do something like is this going to affect the actual x? Like let x is equal to 1, 2, 3. Is it going to actually do anything to it, or are we? It's not going to touch it at all, are we? At all. Let's check. You touched it. Wow. Oh my god. X is not complete. Wow. Okay, explain to me why. No, no. What's your mistake? Okay. Without passing anything to it, abi? Won't it break if I don't do that? Okay, so who can tell me why? What's going on? Like, why is it? Why is it? Why am I? Because I'm basically giving X, like I'm passing a placeholder through the function. It's array ARR, and then I'm doing ARR dot pop. So why am I? Why is this creating side effects? Why? Anybody? See, This thing took me years to understand. Though. So if anybody can explain to me now, I'll clap for the person personally. Yeah, continue. Why am I creating this? Why is this function actually giving a side effect? Like what's going on? Like what's even going on in the first place? And let's start one by one. Oh, sorry, William, come again. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 Let somebody else try. Okay. You can try, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You don't say what I want to hear. Thank you. Continue, 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 continue. Mm-hmm. 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 Thank you. Okay, come again so that they can hear you. I don't think they hear you clearly. But just hammer on that binding part, because that's actually what's going on. Yeah. Yes, can hear you. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So let me just let me now see if I can explain it again. So what this is saying is, if I have a function, right? I say function number, right? I do this, and I see uh return number. Whatever I'm going to do, I say number plus one, or I say number, or I say number plus one. This is exactly the same thing as doing let num equals to num plus one. This is what it means. A variable. This you said look at what this guy said now. This line. See, when I said this line, basically took me a while to understand. Parameters to a function behave like what? What's this? What's this? Regular what? Regular bindings. Regular variables be parameters to function behave like regular variables. That's what you guys need to understand. So whenever you're dealing with parameters of a function, norm, right, is basically the same thing as, or is it's they behave like when you are declaring a variable, right? Let norm is equals to a value, right? Whatever you're doing. So if I call this norm now and I say function, whatever, let's say let me call it function g, and I do so let me call it, I say g and I pass in one, right? What that means is I'm saying let number is equals to one. Okay, sorry, num is equals to, so this is one plus one now, right? So now num is equal to one plus one. The same thing as I'm passing this one here. So when you see function parameters like regular bindings, you will understand what is going on here. You understand that this guy is just passing, just I'm saying let array is equals to x, and I'm saying sorry, I say let array is equals to x, and I'm saying array dot pop, which is same thing as x dot pop, right? That's what's happening. I'm actually passing this value here as a variable to this particular array, and I'm actually mutating the variable that I'm passing in to the array like this. Does it make sense? It does make sense now. It's making sense small, 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 small. Sometimes in my class, whenever I do something, I used to get wow, 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 wow. But you guys are new, so you guys are not giving my wow yet, but it's fine. But if I bust your brain, just tell me wow, wow, small. Just one or two wows. I'm fine. Okay. So yeah, basically that's what happens, right? So once you can see that like this, you actually understand what's going on. So so is there a way to actually work with this array X without actually mutating X? Can anybody tell me? It's basically simple though. This is what we've been doing this one. But I'm just say from you. How do you work with X without actually mutating X? Is there a way to do it? Yeah, exactly. So you can actually make a copy. You can make a copy of X. Uh and do this, yeah, bam. And then when you come to the log your X now, you would get your normal array. Perfect. Nobody's touching it. Perfect. So yeah, I hope I've been able to explain that particular line very, very well. Bind this as scopes. Yeah, I spread array in another array. Array methods. Uh, I don't think they actually cover array method in this book. Oh. Yeah, I don't think they actually did that. But everybody should know array methods now. I'm assuming that everybody here at least has a basic knowledge of JavaScript. Basic, at least you know what um, concat, slice, and the rest does. Okay, you can't do everything actually. Me, I don't know everything, so I know you guys know everything. Some that you see are like, what is this method? It's fine. Bindings and scope. So each binding has a scope. So this is very important. Each binding has a scope. It's like saying each human being has a brain. What part, which is part of the program in which the binding is visible. For bindings defined outside of any function or block, the scope is the whole program. Okay, now so let me show you something now. Basically, what I did here, I actually just do eggs or pop like this, right? I don't even the person parameter in like this. Like Will this work? True or false? Let me hear. Is it gonna work? Like, is it gonna mutate the array? Eh? Why is it going to work? How is it going to work? Okay. So exactly. So this X is visible inside this array, right? So it's basically the same thing as just doing a, what we just did like this, like is the same thing, same freaking damn thing. Sorry, this same thing with removing this. It's like it's the same, like exactly the same thing. Crazy, but it's true. I swear, JavaScript. At some point, if you don't know JavaScript, yeah, you will think JavaScript is hard, but when you start realizing what's going on, you're like, say this will be the why we need. So yeah, it's basically the same thing actually. Shocking, it was shocking to me. Oh. I know you guys are not shocked, but to me, it's shocking. It was back then. When I said it was shocking. So it actually shocked me. I was like, so wait, what's the difference between that? Why is now, what's now the difference? There's no difference, same thing. Like, I don't even know. It was just, I was like, so wait, what's now the use? I was like, so wait. What's going on here? What's the difference? And I realized there's actually no difference. It's the same thing. Okay. I think the actual difference, like you can actually still, what this means, or what the difference that I can see it is now thinking about this is that you can still pass in another parameter. You might not pass in X, you can pass in Y. Let's say Y, and then Y can be, let's say, another array entirely that has like let's say maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically it makes it reusable, but the effect is the same thing. It still mutates the original array. Yeah. So you can also see, just remove this one and put your Y inside, and then just remove this array here and just remove this one too. I'll put your Y here and it will still work. So yeah, it just depends on how you want to use the code. If you have any reusable code there, you want to use it, fine. But if you don't, you can just do this and it will work perfectly. So yeah, you're welcome. This guy, Kigan, you're welcome. Yeah, I used to watch videos on it. So what part of the program I think each binding has a scope, right? Each part of the program in which the binding is visible. But binding is defined outside of the function or block. The scope is the whole program. You can refer to stored bindings wherever you want. These are called global. But bindings created for function parameters or defined inside a function can be referenced only in that function. So they are called local bindings. Every time the function is called, the instances of these bindings are created. Okay, so what this is saying is that there are two kind of bindings, especially for functions. I can have a binding outside the function, like this x and y now, right? And I can have a function that's g equals to an array 555. This g is only visible to this array manipulate. I cannot come and console or log g here. So log g here, I'm not going to get anything. I'm going to get an error. Does everybody understand? Yeah. So so it's only visible inside the function. Outside the function is not visible. But x and y are visible inside the function and outside the function. So log y, right? And I'm going to get something. I can also log y here too. So let me get something. So let me ask you a question. If I see let y is equals to 0, 0, 0, and I can also log y, what will I get as my value of y in this function? Inside this function. Are you sure? Why? Why is outside the function, right? And why is inside this function? If I console the log why, what am I going to get inside this function? You're so strong. Okay. Actually, you're correct. I'll get 0, 0, 0. What if I move this y to on top of this y? What will I get? Is it going to change? What's going to change? Nope. I'm not sure. Yeah. Let me show you. Uh, Maybe look on please. Smith, you're in the generator side. Yeah. Your generator is very loud. Okay, so if I console log y now, what am I going to get? That's the question. Yes, that's the function. No, look at why is console log is in front of, it's on top of. Hmm? I'll get undefined. Who said I'll get undefined? You're correct, actually. Yeah, let me remove this G first. Yeah. This is it. You said? Hmm. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. You can access it, obviously. Why not? Perfectly. Hmm? The console log will change because actually it's called scope. So it's like saying if I want to look for money, let's say I lost money. Let's say in your house I lose money. Where is the first place you start looking for? Your house. Inside your room. Exactly. Before you go outside. That's what this function is doing. Manipulate is looking for why. But it's going to start inside this particular function first before going outside. Look for why. So when you want to get why, yes, you play this guy. Manipulate to get 0, 0, 0. Let me remove this X so that we can see it clearly. You play it so I can see again. I get 0, 0, 0, right? Because y is is found inside the manipulate. But then when I move this y from here, this guy has no other option than to look for y outside, and then y will become 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that clear? So it's like saying, yeah, you're continuing. Yeah, that's, yes, it's correct. Yes, yes. No, the question was if I consume the log y before I declare my variable actually, what's going to happen? No try and error. That's what happens. Can I solve my function addition? So, can you see? Or like 250. Yeah, let's call it reference error. Let's call it reference error. Let's call it- Yeah, it's what you're trying to say is like, or what you're trying to say is that you're looking at error sharp last last. It's not going to return you a value. It's not going to return you what you think it was going to return you from. Almost so error now. Now I always they attack me and Joyce now. Yes, exactly. So that's you're actually correct. So what she was saying was I understand what she was trying to say. And okay, yes, I get and then I know what was going to happen. So we're in the same spirit. So don't mind them, I beg. You're correct. Yeah, can you? Hmm. Okay. Yeah. You want to know why I cannot find why I'm no, but let's remove the wife. Let's remove the let so that okay. So you see something. Okay. So you see one, two, three, four. Yeah. Okay. And then play it again. Okay. So the why here is seeing one, two, three, four. So the problem was actually the I but the thing is I can actually still be declare a variable, right? Inside this place. And this variable declaration, right, would be this would be the only thing that this value y can actually predict. It does not care about. So it's like saying there's a y outside, oh, but this is the y I know. This is my own y. This is my personal y. This is what I know. So, but when you redeclare that particular y beneath it, it's gonna get an error. Okay, the error you're gonna get is the same error when you try to do something like this. Let x is equals to okay, okay. Let's say let g is equals to 4 4 4. But the meta is a metaphor. I do control of g, right? G here. So you're gonna get that same error you got, which is uh cannot declare g. Yeah, okay, let me comment on that. So it's basically saying this G, right? It's saying this G, but it's saying that's like at this point now, it does not care about this Y again. It's not dealing with this particular Y inside, but it's saying that this Y is declared after it is being called. So that's where the error is coming from. So that's saying can access G for the exactly want to call this Oga. And come to say hello, how are you? That kind of thing. It's like it's not doing you don't follow the process. When to call your guy, you have to want to pay some money first. Account. So, does everybody get to that I'm trying to say? Is it clear? I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because of you cannot actually assess before initialization. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like it's telling you that You cannot access this resource before initializing it. So it is there. Oh, you declared it, but you need to initialize it. Yes, you need to initialize it before you access it. So once you remove this let now, right? It's no more a look. It's like you said. It's no more. Yeah. So it's now maybe you're saying you're trying to okay, you're trying to even if okay wait, even if you do this at this point, you're still going to get. You know, remember that we still got one, two, three, four. So because this one is still closer to the function than this guy. Okay. You're not reassigning to this guy. I hope you know. This is not the guy you're assigning to. You're assigning to you're declaring a Y that is a global scope. Yeah. So this is not a global scope. So now if you do this now and you do wait, let me see something now. If I console log this console log Y here, let's see what happens here. See, Y is still 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you see? Okay, but now let's do something. Let's do something crazy. Let's do ah I think I should be able to access the window object from here. Okay. How does this work? Oh, because of I'm using Coca. Okay, no, I'm using Coca. Does this work? Ah, okay, window is not defined. Yeah, this is not defined because of this is Node.js. So we don't have the window object here. Okay, so let me try. I think we should have the module. Right, but basically, just so that this what you're doing now is you're actually attaching Y to the global scope, not this let X or Y here. This one is basically taking this guy to the object, the window object, using um what's the name? If using web using your browser, right? Your window object. If using your okay, so I'm coming. There's in Node.js, right? There's not a window object. There is, I think, I can't remember what it is. Come, let me Google it. Okay, so uh, the global object. I'm coming. Global scope. Node.js. I can't remember. What's the name? I think it's let me see. Where is it? Well, maybe later. I'll look for it. But basically, this why you're declaring here is not. You're not. Just know that you're not trying to mutate this particular X. Yeah, this one here. You're actually mutating that particular global one that we are doing here. So clear. This one. You said? How do you declare what? Yeah. Which of them? Is it the one on 212 or on 216? Yes. Yeah. Yes, you're declaring a variable. You're declaring a variable that is accessible to everybody. Yeah. So it's not advisable to do this sha. The same thing as doing okay, so even if you use var self here self, this is still scoped. Var is a function scope, so you cannot see access outside. But when you do this, you're basically doing window.y. Like when you console log window or y, Let me show you guys this thing, the browser, so you can see what I'm saying. Browser again. Let's go. Let's have fun. Okay. Okay. Where's the? Okay. Let me see my console. But I want to use sources. Let me prepare using sources. Okay. Exactly. So this okay. This one was even using this, right? Okay. Let me see if we did something like this. Exactly. We know the first name. I did something here. We know the first name is John. So I did something. Okay. This is using the this keyword that time. Let me just roll this one. Let me paste this function. So let's call manipulate and call it. Let's play it. So undefined, yeah, but we know what we're getting. So when we okay, so let me do console log y. But let me just type y. It's still play it. It's console log it for you. Save it and play it. Why give us an array 000, right? That's what we get as y. Wait. So that's what we get as y here now. Our y here has been modified. Okay, okay, I'm coming. Let me move this one out first. I see something. Let me play this guy. Okay, okay. Actually, it modifies the y. Yeah, modifies the y. Modifies this particular y. Yes. Okay, so that means yes. Let me try something again. Window y. Let me see what happened. Fine. Okay. Okay, I actually modifies the y. Sorry for that. That was the misconception. You actually modifies this y. So yes, the what I was thinking about was the this keyword. Like if you remember, like that was the answer was mine. So this actually modifies this particular y. So yes, so that's actually true. But the particular y that I was thinking about was the one we were going to use with the this keyword. So when you use like with the this keyword, you're going to modify the y on the window object, right? Because that's like the scope higher than this particular scope here. So yeah, sorry for that actually, guys. I just confirm my misconception. Yeah. Okay. So I don't think we have so much time again. Let's see how we can. E- Actually, we're not even going to today. But guys, I think we should actually end it here. Yeah, I think we should end it here. It's for scope lookout. You want so there'll be another class, but it's not going to be on these functions. They're going to be on classes in JavaScript.